This is the 100% shiny Wild Zone 14 guide. I'll be showing you all the tricks and methods to help you fully complete your shiny Pokédex, especially showing you how to catch all these Steel-type Pokémon, as well as catching shiny Helioptile. So never miss out by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell, and if you want to further support the channel and enjoy these guides, consider becoming a member. Now let's 100% shiny Wild Zone 14. Wild Zone 14 is unlocked during main mission number 20. The Pokemon that we'll be hunting in the zone are Helioptile, which is a daytime spawn, and when it's sunny weather, Drilbur, Emolga, Lairon, Aron, Onix, and Excadrill. The fixed Alpha Pokemon in the zone is going to be an Alpha Excadrill. To unlock the 5% chance of every Pokemon becoming an Alpha, you're going to need to catch every single Pokemon within this Wild Zone, which is also a Mabel request. For full Shiny Dex completionist, you're going to need 2 Helioptiles, one to keep as Helioptile, and one to evolve into Heliolisk using the Sunstone. For the Drilbur line, you're going to need 2, one to keep as Drilbur, and one to evolve into Excadrill, which has a brand new Mega Evolution in this game. You'll need 1 Emolga, since it's a single stage evolution, 3 Aron, which will evolve into Lairon at level 32, and then into Aggron at 42, and Aggron has a Mega Evolution as well. You'll need 2 Onix, one to keep as Onix, and one to evolve as Steelix by trading it while holding a Metal Coat. And this also has a Mega Evolution. The base shiny odds are 1 out of 4,096, while the shiny odds with the shiny charm are 1 out of 1,024.38. Alright gamers, welcome into Wild Zone 14. We are here, I know you are here for this Helioptile, as well as going in for these Steel-type Pokemon, not Emolga, but like things like Onix that you could turn to Steelix, as well as Excadrill that you could get into a new Mega Evolution, and this Lairon that could become Aggron, or the baby that still becomes an Aggron. So we have a ton of options here. Now, the first method we're going to talk about is the fast travel method, which is pretty simple, right? You hover over the zone by hitting the plus button, and then you just simply fast travel to it. Now, fast travel method is interesting because it's always up to the user for how they want to do it. Look at that. Already in front of me, we have an Alpha Lairon. If that was shiny, I'd basically get an Alpha Aggron when I evolve it for free. But what people do is they'll usually spam it a certain amount of times. So they'll go 10 times, and after 10 times, they will just go in and check in on the zone to see if they have any shiny Pokemon. That's pretty much what fast travel is, and it's going to be up to 50 meters. So I have my pin thrown down exactly where the spawn is. So here we go. I have my pin right here, and we're going to see exactly what we can find as a shiny, and know the range because not everything is going to show up. So here's our pin marker, and we're going to go straight in here, and you're going to notice that up to about these rocks is where you're going to get your 50. So these rocks are pretty much telling you, hey, after this point, you're good. So you can see that we can get all this area shiny. So those Arons, we have these little Drilburs that show up. Sometimes you'll get an Onix that shows up. It has a percentage chance of either being a Drilbur or an Onix, which is a pretty big deal. And we can also go towards the right side where we're going to have a bunch of Arons. And let's see what we get in here. And an Onix. So you have all the chances to get those specific shiny Pokemon, but anything after this point over here with all these Excadrills, you're probably not going to have them as a shiny. And also, you could have an Emolga spawn over here within the 50 meters. So that's what's going to happen when we do the fast travel method. And most people do find success doing this method over and over again. And I do want to mention that this can be macroed. I will throw it up on the screen. This is my macro. It's not perfect. This is going to be for the 8BitDo controller, which I will link down in the description below for those who like doing automatic stuff, which a lot of you have. And we also have a Discord dedicated to everyone who uploads macros to make the most perfect macros. So you should check that out. That's in the description below. So macro questions, head to our Discord to the macro chat. Now, through the fast travel method specifically, I was able to get Aron, Lairon, Emolga, and Drilbur through this. Now, be aware that there are 2 Pokemon that you can have as bonus shinies while doing the fast travel method that are going to be right in plain sight. There's going to be a Pidgey that comes over here in this area that's going to just be on the wall. Be careful, save me for that Pidgey if you care about that Pidgey. And right below you, there is going to be a Magikarp that can be gold. So you're kind of getting a freebie Magikarp and a Pidgey out of it. I mean, I feel like that's the Pidgey. There, it flew in. That's the Pidgey that can be shiny. So just be aware that that could happen to you while you're constantly doing these resets over and over again. Now, besides the fast travel method, we need to talk about the next method, which compensates for the fast travel method, called the run and reset method. Now, it initially starts off as, yes, you fast travel to the zone once, but once you're in the zone, we're going to walk right in. And when we walk in, we're going to make sure to see every single spawn in the zone. So maybe about going to this rock and not being seen by all these guys is enough to pretty much spawn everything in. You can see I spawned that hole in the back, so we don't have to rush all the way in the back in order to spawn spawn anything here. And you got to check the sides because there you go. You have Helioptile on the side. We want to make sure all the spawns are here. And you might just need to run and reset up to the rocks to spawn the entire zone in. So that's pretty much it. So when you're in the clear, you could just go ahead and hit the fast travel point on 14 again, and you're just going to rinse and repeat this exact method of run in, get everything spawned in, and when you're done spawning the stuff in, you're then going to just reset. It's a little tough in this zone because all of these Pokemon almost aggro onto you immediately, so it's really up to you to get in the clear, but run and reset is an option. Through the run and reset method, I was 100% able to get a Helioptile through this method. Now, run and reset is going to be the most effective for the Pokemon in the back area. Again, by doing this, we are just basically 100%ing spawning all the Pokemon in the zone as opposed to picking a certain section. So let me know what you prefer between the fast travel method or what you're seeing the most results for, fast travel method or specifically the run and reset method. Now, there is another method in the game, and it is the bench reset method. And believe it or not, there are 2 benches that we could actually try this out, and I'm going to show you the range of those benches. So it's a little bit of testing here, but let's go to the left of Wild Zone 14, just like this, and we are going to go this way, and you're going to see a bunch of scaffolding here that leads to the roof of that building. So let's just speed this up and go to the top. All right, and when you arrive here, you'll see that there is a little upsy daisy to the roof, and then we'll see a Bijo, Kakuna, and a Weedle, and you'll see our lovely bench here. Now, the big question is, how useful is this specific bench? Well, let's go ahead and sleep on it and see what happens. We're going to have a complete reset, battle zone activated as usual. And then what we do is we're going to just drop a pin here. So I always like simulating the bench that we're exactly on just to know what shinies could we possibly get. So I'm going to drop a pin here, and real quick, obviously, shinies that you can get is the entire Weedle line. That's possible. And you need to also keep awareness that you can see Pokemon on the sides or down below or across certain roofs, because it's possible for them to spawn up there. It's possible to spawn below you. So you need to just be aware of that. And it looks like Zone 9, we kind of bleed into Zone 9 too. So you want to check Pokemon all around you that are 50 meters away from the bench, but we're primarily focused on this part of the video. So here's our bench over here. And let me drop down a marker one more time where I am without dying to Bijo. And we're just going to drop down to show you exactly what 50 meters is. So let me meet you right back at the zone. So here we are at Wild Zone number 14 again. And there's our pin marker above on the roof. So let's see exactly where this covers. So as you can see, we are getting closer and closer and closer, and we've reached about the 50-meter mark right about here. Now, it's pretty cool because during the daytime, you could get a Helioptile that spawns around here. We do have a hole spawn, so you could possibly get an Onix. These Excadrills do fall within the range of the 50, and check this out. We also could have an Onix or a Drilbur that spawns over here. Now, I'm not saying the Helioptile is 100% going to be the spawn that shows up there because it jumps around a bit, but you know for sure you're going to get some Excadrills and you're going to get some Drilbur or an Onix from that hole. So that bench method is going to be pretty effective for the back area. So for the first bench that I showed you, the one that is directly behind Wild Zone number 14, I was actually able to get some Pokemon like Manectric and Fletchling. And the reason that is also happening is because it borders a little bit with Wild Zone number 9. And the reason why you get Manectric over here is because the bench we're at is like right over there, and then Manectric is right over here. Now, there also is another bench I do want to show off to you guys. So let's get out of the zone and we'll walk right towards bench number 2 so you're fully aware what you can do in this game. Because I like giving options, you know? We just like spreading out the options of what you can reset on and what Pokemon you could find. So let's keep going here to the bench number 2. Okay, here we are. Let's turn to the right. So right next to the Pokemon battle area. And we're going to just climb up here. We got a ladder just like this. Be careful. This one's a little tricky because you might fall down. So just be a little careful here. We're going to do a little hippity hoppity boopity. And then go up this very carefully. Just like this. Go up the ladder. I mean, that's not a ladder. That's stairs. Come on, Philly. And then go up this beam. Be very careful. Look at me already not being careful. And then we have another beam. And then we're going to drop down here and climb up this ladder over here just like this. Once you climb up the ladder just like this, we're going to go up here and you're going to find, you know, one bench here, a little Trubbish, a little Fletchling over here, then climb up this ladder. And then we're going to arrive at the top here where you're going to find this bench. Actually 3 benches specifically. So what is the purpose of these benches, and does it have any benefit for the wild zone? Well, you can find out because we're going to drop a pin here. Now I dropped my pin marker and we're just going to go all the way back to wild zone 14 to show that does this pin reach, right? And what section are we specifically talking about for the wild zone? So if we drop down here, as you can see, there is our little pin, and we're still 40 meters away from it. And I'm just on the border of the wild zone, which means what for you? This means that you could actually possibly get a Helioptile, which spawns in there, but I'm going to go in the zone so you guys can accurately see. On top of all the random Pokemon on the rooftops, like an Abra, there's Fletchling, there's even Vivians up there. Like, it's really cool. It's really cool. All right, so I'm back in the zone just for you guys to see, does this actually, you know, is this worthy of a bench reset? And here we go, right over here. Look what's on top of this little building. That's an Emolga there, and that Emolga will fall within the 50 meters. And then we have Helioptiles that do spawn here. And what else do we have here? That's an Onix. So you have 2 benches specifically that you could use. You can play around with each bench up there if you want to fine tune, if you want to go a little bit more to the right of the zone here, or a little bit more to the left of the zone. But that is an interesting bench method that you could do. Now for this bench specifically, I was able to get an Onix within the zone that was shiny, but I also got a ton of outside Pokemon from the zone, like the bonus Pokemon that we've always talked about, like Scatterbug, Swoopa, Vivian, Patrat, Bellsprout, Trubbish, and Swirlix, which is a pretty nice surprise. So it is a great spot if you want to get bonus shiny Pokemon while also trying to get the one in the zone. However, at the end of the day, the best method in my personal opinion to do this zone is basically going to be the run and reset method at the end of the day. Now that you know how to shiny hunt this zone, check out this video over here, or you can check out the playlist to find a zone you may like to hunt in.